Hey guys, Brendan from TAT here. And today I want to talk about a fairly common fault code on these Toyota Hilux 1KDs, P0046. So TAT members will be able to go to the website, use the search bar up the top, type P0046, and you'll see that even for the Hilux there's a range of very different causes for this fault code. So P0046 relates to turbo, supercharger, boost control, solenoid, circuit, range, performance. Now, we were taught when we have a circuit code there, we should be looking for something to do with the circuit. It's going to be more electrical, but as I find often, that's not the case, unfortunately. It'd be great if manufacturers would stick to that, circuit code for electric, whereas range performance for mechanical type issues, but as we see in this case, that's just not what's happening. So you'll see some of the faults we have ranging from this, and I mean, in layman's terms, what it's trying to say is I didn't achieve the boost target that I was after. Some of the faults range from the actual boost control solenoid having shorted wiring, so that is a circuit issue, through to, say, something like the vanes in the turbo being seized up and not being able to move, which is very much a mechanical issue. Now, something that I want to show you today is one that I'm going to add there, and it's to do with a bit of preventative maintenance, because what we've got here is a car that's not making boost. It's set this code, fairly easy one. It's got a howling noise. It's terrible from the turbo, right? We have a real turbo failure. When we look at the turbine of this turbo, there's a piece missing from the wheel, right? So it's not rocket science. But as we know, with a turbo, there's usually going to be something that's caused that, right? So we need to go looking. This shouldn't really just happen to a good working system. So something that's very important to be checking on these Toyotas, and it ranges across a whole bunch of models, is the MAP sensor filter. So the manifold absolute pressure sensor has a filter for the hoses that come from the manifold to the filter, and that stops all the oil getting into the sensor, but they're very prone to crack. So very common amongst a lot of Toyotas, we're running from the intake manifold into this MAP filter. Now it's very hard to get on camera with the setup that I've got here, but underneath we've got a very small crack. The thing to look for is really during servicing, any misting of oil around this area is usually going to be from this guy. Eventually it will start to feel poor performance because you will be getting lower boost as it's not commanding the system correctly, but definitely you want to be looking out for small hairline cracks, which in my experience is usually on the bottom side of these, and then obviously this runs to the MAP sensor, which in this case mounts up on the intercooler. Now, because this system is using the MAP sensor as a reference for what it's going to do with the turbo vanes, if we're not achieving the boost because we've got either a blockage or a leak from this MAP sensor filter, what do you think it's going to do to those vanes? It's going to keep them in that high boost position. It's going to say, turbo, I want to work you harder, I want to make that boost, right? The wheel is going to be oversped, essentially. We're going to get a lot of heat, we're going to get a lot of turbo speed, and the car's going to be driving around like that for a long time until something like this happens, right? Turbo is quite expensive. I would call this MAP filter a maintenance item, not very expensive. So it's important that when we're servicing these vehicles, we're checking these things. In this case, this is one that it was a customer that's been doing their own servicing, saving a bit of money. I think you'll agree, doing a turbo is not saving a bit of money, right? So this is very important information, this is the kind of stuff that we've got in Repair Solutions, because if you go put a turbo on this, which by rights you've certainly got a reason to, the thing's howling its head off, but you weren't to go look at that MAP sensor and see a very small split in it, well, guess what? You're probably going to have a warranty turbo coming back at you, right? So these Repair Solutions, we include not just the repair, but tips that are going to help you during the repair as well. So if you want to check these out, get onto www.tat.net.au, join the thousands of other members that are sharing knowledge, information and experience. Thank you.